morning, and welcome to another amazing episode on each podcast. And yes, it's a happy good morning. It's a good morning actually because it's quite early here. I woke up early and I woke up with this thought, and I had to do this. I had to talk about this. It's been something that's been going on for some days now, basically on Instagram, social media, Twitter, and I had to talk about it because actually it's been a time bomb. It's been something. It's been a bomb that's been there waiting to just explode, waiting to just boom, And here it is. So today we're going to be talking about what is happening now in Nigeria. Um, well, like I said, it's actually at this time right now. There's an ongoing protest, actually peaceful protest, that is basically having so much effect. Like it's getting um, massive consideration, considering the fact that it's high on social media. Like it's on the top right now. And well, what are we talking about now? It's the rate. um, this basically is because this is happening because of the massive rate, the outrageous rate at which police brutality has been a thing in Nigeria. This is not happening. It's not new. Okay, it has been happening for years. And on this episode, I'm going to be sharing a couple of stories, and yes, and a story of somebody who I've had, somebody that's actually very close to me, a one-hand experience on this. And this is one or two stories I've got because I visit Nigeria too. I mean, I'm Nigerian, of course, and so I go home, and anytime I go home, there's always the experience is always there, and um, I'm happy at the rate at which this thing is having power right now. So actually, it started with the SARS, so the whole NSAS movement. Actually, it started from there, and and regardless of the fact that the whole SARS has actually is been dissolved as at on Sunday, the 11th of October, the news was announced. It was announced that they have dissolved the SARS. So, but before that, I want to before that. The whole SARS for the benefits of those of you who are listening to me and don't know, uh, don't have a clue about any of this, or don't have a clue about what what the SARS is actually. So in Nigeria, aside the Nigerian police force, the official one. I mean, it's not like the SARS is not official, but um, I'll tell you a little story of how it was formed. Okay, so uh, yeah, so the SARS actually simply means the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Okay, that's the meaning of SARS. So this was a Nigerian police force unit that that was formed that was formed under it was this unit was formed under under the force of criminal investigation and intelligence department. And so, and it was banned on the 5th, on the 11th, sorry, like I said. And that was as a result of the widespread protest that the Nigerian youth has continuously. As I speak to you now today, there's actually going to be other protests, continuous protests, and people are asking, why is the protest not stopping? Why? I mean, if the SARS has been ended, why has the youth not stopped from the protest? They've not held back. This is because they have a bigger goal. Yes, it started quite actually started by because of the SARS, the whole SARS thing, but they have a bigger goal. They just don't want just the SARS. I'm going to tell you about their request. I'm going to tell you what why the whole protest is still going on. So the reason why the SARS was formed, Okay, let's get to that story. A little bit of history here. So the squad was founded in 1992, okay, by the former police commissioner Simeon Danladi Midenda. So um, yes, so this was when it was formed in 1992, and the major reason was because the former Nigerian army, former colonel of Nigerian army, was killed by a policeman in the checkpoint, in one of the checkpoints in Lagos. So when the army found out about this, about the killing of their colonel, the soldiers were dispatched everywhere on the streets, everywhere, in search of. They just wanted, if they see anybody on police uniform, they just they just went ahead looking for policemen, and they were ready to kill anyone seen with seen in a police uniform. So this made the Nigerian police, everyone withdrew. There were stories, there were rumors that that many of them resigned. Some just fled for their lives. Nobody wanted to put on the uniforms, you know. And for weeks, there were no police anywhere. There was just no sign of the police force. You couldn't see them anywhere, and so the rate of crime increased, and people, the rate of criminality was everywhere. And so because of that, this was formed. There was this SARS. They formed this unit that operated undercover without the uniform, without a police uniform. That were looking into the crime rates, and it was initially formed by 15 officers, and they were just operating under shadows and they were monitoring police radio charters. So this was how it was formed. But then what happened? Because these people, this unit, they didn't have they were operating like, let's say, they are supposed to serve as the SWAT of the United States, something like that. On special cases, you see them. But this thing became it became rampant. It became something else. Over time, their power increased. They went ahead doing stuff, breaking rules, treating people, no human right, violating human rights, no respect for human rights violation or anything. They went ahead, um, doing all sorts of things, treating people anyway, anyhow they wanted, and getting away with it. There are reports. There've been reports of them killing people on broad daylight, like taking a gun and shooting somebody right in front of people, and nobody can do anything, because they always come out to say that person was a thief, that person was that person did that person did this. They had stories to back them up. And of course, this is not right. This is absolutely not right. If somebody breaks the law, you take them. You take them. You take them into custody, not killing them on the road. So at the rate of the killing has gotten so rampant, so outrageous, as at this year. Um, and this is why the whole protest is happening. This is basically why the whole protest has fused up, has become something else. And the police brutality in general has been something that needed address. It has needed to be addressed by the federal government, by the forces at hand. But people acted like they didn't see it. The police force could do anything and get away with it. They were the power. They felt like they can make people do with them how they please and get away with it. So that is basically what is happening. Why the youths are out there. That is why the youth want the whole police brutality stuff to end. They want it to stop. So I had to talk about this because I've had experience also with these people, and luckily I got away with it. Like I got lucky, nothing bad happened to me. My cousin, who had an experience, got away, luckily, nothing happened to him either. I mean, not physically, but it's the rate of extortions. They demand money and all stuff. If you don't pay, then you're dealt with. But you have to pay to get yourself out. Things like that. So, first experience now. So, I'll tell you about the story right after the short break. So, hey guys, if you haven't checked out my other podcasts, please go ahead and check them out on Anchor FM or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever be your preferences. That it's out there on every other podcast platform. And you can follow my Instagram page on each_by_jboy, and you can feel free to leave reviews, to give me feedbacks, comments, and tell me what you like, what you don't like, and tell me what you would like to hear in the upcoming episodes as we continue after this short break. Thank you. Hey, hold up. Before we continue on the episode, I just wanted to ask you quickly if you've heard of Anchor. If you haven't heard of Anchor, it's the easiest way to make podcasts today. I mean, let me explain. First of all, it is free, completely free, and there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit the podcast right from your phone or computer. And the best part of it is you don't have to do anything else. Like you just upload, like you make your podcasts with the tools available to you and you upload it. And Anchor does the distribution yourself. Like it distributes your podcast for you so you can be heard on different platforms. You can be heard on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and many more. And with the amount of audience you have, the amazing thing, you can make some money from your podcast. And it's everything you need. Anchor is just everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. You don't have to go to different studio sessions and look for places to take your recordings to or your work to. Your projects are just there for you and you manipulate it how you want. And today you can download the free Anchor app. Just go right now, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you. So let's get back to the session. Hey, welcome back, guys, to Beach by J-Boy. So, facts so far, we've talked about what the SARS means, when it was formed. The SARS means Special Anti-Robbery Squad, formed. It was formed in 1992. And basically, guys, the reason why SARS was formed was actually because of the rate of the crime rate in Nigeria, and it's been a successful unit. It's one of the 14 units in the Force Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department, and it's been very successful over the years because it involved the prosecution. They had to investigate, detain, prosecute people involved in crimes like armed robbery, kidnapping, and other forms. And with the rate and due to the surge of the huge amount of internet fraudsters and cultism in universities as at 2009, because the rate increased, they got very successful because they made several successful arrests, but they always harassed innocent youth in the process, but then what this became now as a result of the huge amount of internet frauds that has been going on. Now what they do is like a crime. It has become a crime that against Nigerian youth to have dreadlocks. You want to look rasta, you want to have dreadlocks, piercing cars, if you have expensive phones or or wear clothes that are expensive or flashy, then that means you're automatically a criminal, and that has been the case. That has been what has been going on. And besides the police brutality in its own, the the SARS case is something else. This unit act like they are above every law against any youth, against anybody. They can walk into your home, shoot somebody straight up in the head, and walk away. It's that bad. It is that bad. So this is why, I repeat again, this is why the whole controversy of, sorry, it's not a controversy, of course, the whole protest has been going on now. This is why it has been going on. So like I have said in the beginning, the SARS has been dissolved. Okay, it was dissolved on the 11th of October 2020. This was 2 days ago, and the protest continues. Why? The reason why the protest is going on still, even though it has been dissolved, is because we want the whole police brutality to end as a whole. We want them to be booked, to go by the book. They want them to obey rules, regulations. Like, they need to be reformed. The whole police force needs to be reformed, because they can't go on treating people like they are not educated. They have not been educated on their job, and this is why this whole thing is going on now. This is why the protest is still going on heavily. And right in front of this protest, leading this protest are big entertainers, Nigerian entertainers, and they're having this whole thing going massively on the social media. So if you didn't know, now you know why this whole thing is going on. So the reason it hasn't ended is because they have basically 5 requests. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the 5 requests and then tell you a short story about the experience my cousin had, and we're done for this episode. So actually, the whole Nigerian youth, myself included, what we are demanding, there are just 5 basic demands to end the whole protest. One is an immediate release of all arrested protesters, because of course we know over time, also something I'm going to talk about maybe later, there's been, with the new administration in Nigeria, the new leaders, is practically impossible to have protests. If you come out for protest, you're arrested. They just tag you to be a criminal or something once you come out to protest, without doing anything, having no criminal records, no weapons, no nothing. You're just arrested. Going out with placards, you're arrested for no reason, because you're protesting. So one of the requests is immediate release of all arrested protesters. Number 2 is justice for all deceased victims of police brutality and appropriate compensation for their families. Number 3 request is setting up an independent body to oversee the investigation and prosecution of all reports of police misconduct within 10 days. Okay, then number 4, in line with the new Police Act, psychological evaluation and retraining to be confirmed by independent body of all disbanded SARS officers before they can be redeployed. Okay, and then number 5 is to increase police salary so that they are adequately compensated for protecting lives and property of citizens. So these are simple requests, and of course can be met easily. It's not like they're asking for things that are outrageous or significant. These are really important requests, and we're hoping that they get signed and approved, and then the whole protest can stop. So ending this episode, guys, so this experience, I'll tell you the one of my cousin. So actually, my cousin, the last time he visited home, he was in his car, he was driving, and on a very, like, nothing was happening, there was no traffic, no nothing, and he sees this car double cross him. Just the way, from his story, what he told me, from the way they acted, like, he could see the double crossed his car as if he was scared, because he thought they were criminals. He thought he was being robbed, and they jumped out of the car, all of them, jumping out, walking straight to his car and hitting his glasses. Tell him to low, wind down his glasses, wind his glasses down, and all that. And he did, and he just was brutalized. He got beaten from everywhere. Dragged him out of his car. They went into the car, drove the car, put him in the car, forced him into the car, of course, drove him to the station, without explanation. I mean, he was asking, what's up? What did I do? What happened? No introduction, no formal introduction, no, hey, I'm the police, no, nothing. They were having no uniform. They just said they were SARS. They were with guns and all that. And he was taken to the station, dragged into a police cell, locked up there, his phones and everything taken from him. And then after some time, they asked him to make a phone call for somebody to come bail him out. And he was asking, bail me out from what? What did I do? And that's it. You don't say nothing. You can't. Nobody listens to you. That is how they act. They just treat people the way they want. And he was lucky. He made a phone call. He called somebody he knew who was close to some police force and all that. And through contacts, at the end of the day, not to bore you with the story, he came out of the police station, no explanation of what he did, just because he had a good car, a nice car. And no explanation of anything. They did not have any incriminating, nothing. They just do anything the way they want. Not to bore you anyways. He came out of there, but he had to spend close to 200 and 250,000 naira. And that is close to 500 euros. So without having done anything, you haven't done nothing. Like, you haven't done practically nothing. So this is just a simple example of what is going on, what they do, what they have been doing, the rate at which they operate. I mean, it is unacceptable. So guys, thank you for hanging on. Instead, if you've stayed here, if you've been listening to this point, man, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And so I'm going to be saying goodbye, and please don't forget to go and give me your reviews and comment on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, every other platform you want, and follow us on Instagram at each_by_jboy. Thank you so much for hanging on, and see you in the next episode on Monday. This was actually a special episode, so on Monday is going to be another episode. So thank you so much for being here, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.